welcome to my kitchen. You know, we're about a week after the new year and we had like treat overload for Christmas, but we're getting back into the swing of things. We kind of got rid of all the Christmassy treats and kind of come down off of our sugar coma. But now we're kind of easing back into everyday, everything is normal life. When everything is normal in my house, this is what happens when my kids go, can we get some bananas? And then they don't eat them. We won't eat them past this point. To us, this is like, these have to either be frozen for later use or they need to be used. So Molly says, can we make a banana bread or something? So I said, yeah, let's make banana cake. And we're gonna make a banana cake today. And I'm gonna make a chocolate cream cheese frosting to go on it. And I thought I'd just share that with all of you because I know maybe you don't want to indulge in some sweet dessert right now, but this is a nice snacky kind of cake to have on hand. Eat it for lunch. Nobody will know. And you have that instead. It's also good for breakfast. If you don't want to put frosting on it, that's good too. You could just eat it like banana bread. It's a nice light cake. And we're just going to put a little frosting on it so it makes everybody happy. So this is how we're going to do this. But the first thing I wanted to show you is, well, let me tell you the ingredients first. We're going to use a cup of mashed bananas, a cup of buttermilk, 2 eggs, a teaspoon of salt, tablespoon of vanilla, teaspoon each of baking powder and baking soda, a cup and a half of sugar, and 2 cups of flour. And then I'm also going to grate in some fresh nutmeg. But before I can do any of that, I have all these bananas. And very honestly, there's way more than a cup of bananas here. So I'm just going to mash them all. We're going to put them in the bowl. And then I am going to portion out. My banana bread recipe takes a cup and a half of mashed bananas. So I'm going to portion them out for banana bread.
That tip off.
Oops. In sandwich bags, mashed, and then I'm going to store them flat in the freezer until they get completely frozen, and I can put them wherever I want to in my freezer. This is a really good way to always have bananas on hand. The other thing you can do with these is slice them up and throw them in your dehydrator, and you can make fabulous banana chips. Bear Prepper, my friend Bear Prepper, she recently did some honey dipped banana chips, and boy, did they look yummy. But I don't feel like getting out my dehydrator today, so I'm just going to go ahead and dehydrate those. Molly's outside taking pictures of the dog. She's showing me pictures through the window on her camera.
And I have to attest that homemade dehydrated banana chips are way better than the crap you get in the store.
Yeah, they don't last long in our house because they're just like candy. The dehydrated bananas you get in the store are awful. Look. That's cute.
Oh.
Molly got a new camera for Christmas because she is a budding photographer, so I'm really trying to encourage that for her. She wants to do photography as her career path, and I think that's awesome. Because what better way to do? You do what you love, and you get to be creative, and you get to make money doing it. I think that's awesome. So I'm just going to mash these bananas up really good. And I know you're going to ask me why I'm doing it with a fork, because that's how I like to do it, but you know what? You don't have to use a fork. You can use your hands. But you should take your rings off before you do this, and I didn't. But this ring isn't that bad. So I'll rinse now.
You wouldn't want to use a food processor?
You can if you want to. I think that I like my bananas to be a little chunky, and when you freeze them when they're a little chunky, then when they get in there, if you're going to make banana bread or banana cake with them, then they break down a little more even. So let me just go back in here and get those larger chunks. I know everybody knows how to mash bananas, so I'm not trying to insult you. Okay, so we need a cup of bananas for this cake. So there's a cup of bananas for the cake. And let's see, what else do we have here? We probably have, I'm going to call that a cup and a half. So we're just going to put that in a Ziploc bag. Just like that. And put on top of the eggs. Get it all in there. And what I like to do, you gotta get all the air out of that bag. So kind of do as much as you can, fold it over and zip it. Then I'll lay it flat and I'll put it in the freezer. Do that later. Let's get started on our, oh, you know what? I forgot. There's a stick of butter in the microwave softening. We're definitely gonna need that. I know some of you are thinking, there's no fat in that. That can't be right. You're right. It's not right. So here, we have a stick of butter. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on the mixer and get it beaten up a little. So let's beat this. And I have my beater blade on here, so it's going to be squeaky. Show that butter too soft right now. There we go. And then I'm going to stream in my sugar. There. Get that nice and fluffy. While that is mixing, I'll have it come over here. And we can just top off all of our dry ingredients together. So we need a teaspoon of everything. A teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of salt, which is always optional, but I think sweet things need a little salt to balance them out. And then I'm going to grab one of my little nutmegs in here, and I'm just going to grate some. I say anywhere from a quarter to a half a teaspoon is going to be perfect. You don't want to overpower it, but I like the way that nutmeg goes with the banana cake. You can add cinnamon or anything you want. You can even use a spiced cake mix and just add bananas to it and hold off on a little of your oil. Okay, I'm going to break 2 eggs into this bowl.
Making dangerously, okay?
I am, I know. I should break them separately, but you know, I have a bad habit of doing that. Like I said before, I've never ever had a problem. And get those mixed in there really well. In go your bananas. Oh, that smells so wonderful. All right. And in with a cup of buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, take some of the milk you have on hand and add a tablespoon or 2 of lemon juice or cider vinegar and let it sit for about 5 minutes and you'll have buttermilk and it'll all be good. And let's put in some vanilla. About a tablespoon. And then, let's see, let's start putting in our flour and dry ingredients. Probably turn my mixer down a little, huh? There we go. Now I've just made quite a mess to clean up, so you can do it differently.
You can make a bigger mess if you want.
That's absolutely right. And the buttermilk is going to help this cake be really moist, and it's going to give just the right amount of acidity to it to balance out the bananas. And I'm going to call that well mixed. Let's see. I've got all this flour up here on top. That's all right. I'm going to grab a rubber spat. Let's see. Right here. Take out this. I'll bring it over here. I'll move all of this miscellany out of the way.
The oven was getting hot. The oven was getting hot.
Yep. I am going to spray my pan with some vegetable oil cooking spray, just so we don't get any stickage. I have a 9 by 13 baking pan, just a regular cake pan. Ready to go. I have my oven preheated at 350. And just get those beaters cleaned off. They're waiting.
You do that like Bob Ross.
Oh, with the brushes. They're waiting.
For, I don't know if I want to.
You don't know if you want to.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good, huh? I'll say. That's really wonderful. All right. Let's just give this a good stir. Into the pan it goes. Now, at this point, if you choose, you can throw a handful of chocolate chips in here, or some chopped walnuts, or some chopped pecans, whatever you like. You can go right ahead and put in this batter, and it's going to be great.
Okay.
But I'm going to put a chocolate buttercream on here, chocolate cream cheese frosting, and it's going to be really good.
Yeah, walnuts would be really good.
We'll put some on the top. That'll be yummy. Okay. Into our preheated oven for 35 to 40 minutes until a toothpick put in the center comes out clean. When it's time to do that, I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, our cake is ready to come out of the oven, and I'll show you. There's a couple of ways that you'll know. Now, you can see how it's starting to pull away from the sides, and the edges are looking a little brown. That's a first indicator. Well, the main indicator is you're really going to start to smell it while it's baking, and that's an indicator that you should check it. The second thing is, when you press on it, does it bounce back? It does. If it leaves an indentation, that means it's not done yet. So this is bouncing back. The third way is you take a toothpick right in the middle and you pull it out. There are no crumbs or batter attached to that toothpick. It is clean. So this cake is done, and we're going to retire it to a cooling rack, and we're going to let it sit there until it's completely cooled, at which point we will put our chocolate cream cheese frosting on the top, and we will make a happy marriage. So, when it's time to come back and frost this cake with our chocolate cream cheese frosting, then I will have you join me and show you what I'm going to do with it. See ya! We're back, and we're just going to get ready to frost this cake. It's completely cooled now. We cooked supper, we ate supper, we cleaned up supper, and now it's time to frost our cake because it's totally cool.
Tacos.
Yes, we had tacos for dinner. Now I just spooned some of that frosting on top of the cake, and now I'm going to spread it with my offset spatula. just smooth it out so it looks pretty. I went ahead and I chopped up about a half a cup of walnuts that I had in the freezer, and I toasted them in a dry skillet, just my cast iron skillet. I went ahead and I put it over a medium heat, and I toasted these until I could smell them just a little bit. And these are still a little bit warm, so they're probably going to melt into that. Well, the walnuts won't melt, but the frosting might melt just a little. Well, there you have it. A beautiful banana cake with chocolate cream cheese frosting. And we even have a little frosting left over for graham cracker snacks. So what am I gonna do? Because I think I'll probably get some what for if I don't cut a slice of cake for somebody. Let me see here. So we're just going to cut this into squares. I think is probably the best way to do this.
Corner or middle, Sandy?
There you go. We'll have a good look at that. Well, I don't know about you, but that looks delicious. So, banana cake with chocolate cream cheese frosting. I hope you try it, and I hope you love it. And until next time, I'll see ya.